Good morning. Welcome to the City of Laredo Blue Ribbon Committee for People with Disabilities meeting for Wednesday, December 15th. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And the second item on the agenda is review and approve the minutes of November 17th. So you all want to take 15 minutes to go ahead and look at those in case we need to make changes or revisions. Does anyone have any changes?
No.
Christine, you don't like your help.
She's ready for her presentation.
Okay, if there are no changes or revisions, can I have somebody motion for us to go ahead and approve the minutes?
I'll motion.
And someone second it? Okay, thank you. Next item is we have the public comments.
No public.
Okay, thank you. Item 4 is discussion and possible action on the next items. Report from Christine Reyes on special needs program. Christine.
Morning, everyone.
Thank you.
Like always, if there's any, I try my best to keep it short and sweet. But if there's any questions or any information you need, please feel free to ask. Our program had several administrators this past month requesting our program's assistance to offer educational videos on positive teacher and parent communication to help the special education students thrive. So our program is working on several educational videos to help with tips for families, caregivers, as well as teachers to continue that positive communication to help the students in the classroom as well as outside. We're also focusing on some videos that share tips on keeping their child on a routine/schedule to help with the transitioning back to school after the Christmas break is over. I believe this break will be 3 weeks, so we're hoping that we help families continue that schedule and routine so that the transition for the students in the special education unit is a little bit smoother. Our program was invited to a Christmas event at the Pasco Recreation Center. Our program collaborated with elementary, middle school, and high schools throughout the district to provide each special education student a Christmas sensory bag. These bags include sensory training material and a recreational therapy activity. Of course, our attendance is also to support the community inclusion and educate others with a disability-friendly tips for the holiday season. Texas State Fashion Company reached out to our program regarding a high school employment opportunity that they're offering young adults that are deaf and hard of hearing. The program connected the Texas State Fashion Company guidance on which masks they should use and acquire to help the students read lips while taking their COVID-19 safety precautions. And the program also provided the educational videos of ways to communicate with deaf and hard of hearing individuals. The helpful tips that we offered the Texas Fashion Company were a text-to-speech app service that was downloaded for the company to help both the clients and the company communicate efficiently. Our program connected with the police department with the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center in Corpus Christi, Texas. Our staff coordinated a conference call for a T-Pole training for the police department on assisting and responding to individuals with a deaf or hard of hearing. November of this year, training was scheduled for a DHH certified instructor to come to Laredo, Texas. The Laredo Police Department participated in a licensed training that included 508 officers in the academy to receive the TCO accredited training for deaf and hard of hearing. For the month of December, our program has created educational flyers and videos that focus on International Day of People with Disabilities. Specific topics were shared on how to observe the day and why it is important. We continue to share the Caregiver Burnout education, which is a 4-video series that will play throughout the week to educate the caregivers during the holiday season for caregivers. Educational flyers on self-care, mental health tips for the youth are going to be offered, and self-care on sensory overload during the holidays. As of today, our program has enrolled and assisted a total of 308 clients. This was an increase of 90 new clients, putting our program at a 361% of clients served. We received an email from our state grantor that stated that they were very proud of us this quarterly report, and that our program is growing so fast, and that it's a testament of our hard work and dedication and the need for a program like this in Laredo.
Much needed program, very good.
That's my report.
No,
You left the best part for the last part. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you guys are exceeding your numbers by 300%.
Yes, and we're still on quarter 2, the first month of quarter 2. So proposal, and some of these events are most likely going to invite or include 250 additional new clients, and these are the clients that we're going to focus on transitional adult healthcare, transitional healthcare for the adults, young adults.
So as your numbers increase, does the funding increase?
I hope so. I hope so. I think right now, within our RFA and our contract with this grant, I believe it's till 2024. Of course, there's also renewals in our RFA to continue this program. But we did receive, 2 weeks ago, I did receive an email from the state grantor, our main coordinator for the state for children and young adults with special health care needs. This grant that we're under is a federal block grant, and the federal government had requested some information on how funds are being used and what have they seen that's been very exciting as far as during the, during the awareness. And we were the main contractor they used for the federal block grant report. So
That's awesome.
Yes. So
Put a lot
this past week to the federal government for the federal block grant report.
One program that excels, they use you as a pilot program in the sense of they use you as they try to copy your what you've done. The people, right? Because people are always the ones who make it happen.
right.
So and move to another area as well.
Yes. This morning, actually, right before I came to this meeting, we were in our state meeting, our quarterly state meeting, and individuals we're supposed to have in our program, and of course, ours starts with 85 per year, and we've already exceeded it.
Yeah.
Other this as all contractors in the state, I heard Austin's minimum, which was 1,200, and I was Casey, which is our one of our managers and coordinators, just looked at me and I was like, challenge accepted. During COVID, the outreach was much different, and this program was birthed during COVID. So now that we are in a new year and we've barely been on quarter one and showing promise of numbers and the need of this program, I hope the state can, of course, see that and hope
It's there, definitely.
Yeah, so you maybe need the sample or the example for many.
yes, a good one, hopefully.
Good.
Congratulations, Christine.
Thank you, Ms. Jackie.
You need to
I'm
breathe,
Jackie, we forgot about you.
you need to breathe heavier because once in a while you need to yawn or something.
Are you holding your breath?
Okay.
Good.
So we can move on to the next one. Review and update on services for response to COVID-19 pandemic.
Actually, if I may say, we did hold a vaccine clinic that included some of our special needs patients, the children. It was very successful. We had a full house and we were able to vaccinated. So that's what we were able to offer this month. And of course, we did have our monthly orthopedic free clinic for children. We also had a good turnout, over 30, 35, with our doctors from
Anyone else? So, let me move on. Needs to discuss possible action, if any, to be taken by the committee to better protect the health of people with disabilities. This item was placed here at the request of Dr. Rudinger. Let me see if I can. They're called Southwest Sanitation or something. Like that.
Sterilization.
Organization of a very large company that manufactures medical equipment. And so part of their job is to sanitize equipment that's been utilized already. And so apparently but in the process, there's a primary contaminant that's released into the atmosphere. And so on December 5th, there was a article that was published in 95% of the population in Laredo exposed to this would probably be diagnosed with cancer at one point. Okay. And so what has happened is that, let me see if I can get this right, when I read it well. Apparently, there's the Texas Environmental and then there's the EPA. Dr. Ruthinger.
Yes, I'm here.
Good, you're just in time because I'm in trouble here. We started the meeting because we had enough individuals to start with a quorum, right? I suggested, and so I'm explaining to the group what it's about, right? And so my understanding is that you can help the levels that are being expelled, I guess, into the atmosphere. But somehow or another, the Texas the Quality Environmental Board has not
There was a report, and what made me concerned is because when we talk about people with disabilities, there are people who have immune and my interest was peaked on Sunday, December the 5th, because there was on the front page of Laredo Morning Times, it stated Laredo 100% more likely to get cancer than the rest of the United States. The first paragraph, if I may, says with statistics showing all citizens of Laredo having at least 75% higher cancer risk than the rest of the nation is due to what they call ETO or EO emissions. It's ethylene oxide. Now, what is that? Ethylene oxide is what is being used by this particular company called Midwest. It's what they use to sterilize medical equipment. And that is, in the old days they would boil, right? Well, no, not anymore. Sterilize medical equipment. And that is their bread and butter. That's all they do. And the company apparently has been here since 2005, when the city dad said it was they welcomed this company because it was going to add some jobs. Then it did. They hired 100 employees. Is what I understand. I understand that the ProPublica Midwest Sterilization and ranked it one of the top facilities that are emitting this cancer-causing agent. So I thought it would be a very important thing to bring up to the city. One of the things that it adds that I was very concerned about is that it says that for children that are attending risk of developing leukemia. So I'm just throwing that out there.
I had heard probably like a month and a half ago or two that there was some company that was releasing some kind of chemical and that they had regionalized it, right? And the only reason it caught my eye in the west side of town where the Mines Road is, more or less,
Yes, sir.
the Delmar or Clark, which then includes my house. and so needless to say, it seems as though in Northwest Laredo are more prone to being affected. So I guess in reading the article, my concern was, so what is the city? My perspective is, I know that your concern is that individuals with disabilities have sometimes a weakened, compromised immune system, and they're
as well in that DCA, but I also know that all of this was brought up in statistics and the new report that was done, the study that was done was presented to the Texas branch, and they have not done anything about it as of yet. And there's only one other liquid sterilization plant. I mean, that tells you something. Other cities didn't want it there, and there's only one more, plus the one in Laredo.
well,
The other one is in Jackson, Missouri.
So as a committee, I guess I've thought about this, and there's only two things we can do. Okay, there's probably more, but I'm just using whatever I think we can do is as representatives of individuals with disabilities. One thing is that we can go all out and advocate and go to these public meetings, okay, wherever they're held, and speak up. But the other one is, I thought, is that maybe we should write a memo or letter regarding our concerns and how they would affect individuals with disabilities, and send that to the city council or wherever it needs to be sent, EPA or the Texas. Have an idea? Okay, I guess you start by sending it to everyone because you just.
Things would be very good. Would you want me to read two short paragraphs?
Sure.
And this again is from the Laredo Morning Times article. The conditions of according to the report from ProPublica, and I encourage everyone to Google ProPublica report, it has resulted in 94 of all schools in the United States in cancer risk. 10 Laredo schools rank in the top 1%, including Butler, which sits just 1.6 miles from the says the EPA reports ethylene oxide is third than previously estimated, which is why the EPA so in 2019, the reason why that's important is because the Jackson location was investigated at that time by EPA for the EPA emissions, and it installed.
But Dr. Ruthinger, my impression is that EPA, the regulations or guidelines that were produced or publicized by EPA have not been adopted or accepted.
The Texas chapter, I understand, has not really moved on this concern.
Yeah.
So, I believe that that's what they're going to go. They're just raise awareness, perhaps, in the form of a letter, or, I mean, whatever you think, whatever the committee wants to do. I just wanted to bring this up because it's something that's going to affect all of our families, and mostly I'm concerned about people with disabilities who have compromised immune systems, and the children, of course, that are being put at risk.
If I can give a little background on,
I appreciate that.
the city's involvement and kind of where we stand right now. So, Dr. Chamberlain was a part of the town hall that was held in that area a couple of weeks back. And I know as a result of that town hall, there were questions regarding I don't want to say so much the validity of the report that was published, but the statistical significance of the pool of people they had obtained or the data they had obtained to acquire those results. So that's definitely going to be something that is going to be looked at. As a result, we did reach out, the city did reach out to EPA, and there's currently grant opportunities in the works for air quality monitoring. City of Laredo Health Department will be applying for this grant to facilitate air quality monitoring. TCEQ, which is the Texas, I don't know the acronym, but it was the air quality for that, for Texas. And that unfortunately was phased out, I want to say about 5-6 years ago. That just shows, how long I've been here now. But we are looking into having that direct connection with EPA. EPA is scheduled to hold an additional town hall with those, concerned citizens from Laredo. So as soon as we get the information for that, I will let you know. Another thing that Dr. Chamberlain has provided as an option, and of course that would depend on the fund. This is a competitive grant, so any funding that would be secured for Laredo is blood marker testing, and that would also identify the risk for individuals to, or what they're being exposed to and what that would mean for their health. So there are things in
well, first of all, I'm very, very relieved to hear that we're looking at getting grant money to have some type of monitoring system to let the citizens know exactly what our air quality is. It's an odorless, tasteless gas that is all around us and we're not even aware. But what I wanted to say is when in 2019, when the Jackson, Missouri citizens did make the city aware that they were concerned, it installed further emission controls at the time. The EPA revised the dispersion and risk model because they were told that it was within the parameters that the air was okay. But in the final analysis, guess what? It was not. So this definitely needs further study in the form of what the health department is doing. And, to me, there's not a moment to wait because it is a health risk to everyone.
Yes, I agree with that. Like I said, we will be applying for this grant opportunity. Another suggestion for the committee, I know you're talking about drafting a letter. My recommendation would be to draft a letter to the mayor, or if potentially a letter of support is needed for this grant application, that it would come on behalf of the committee.
What Mr. Chair was saying, I support too. I think it sounds great. If there's anything that I can do as far as doing some research, to provide research for the grant or any kind of writing that I could assist with, I'm retired now, so I can do work from home. So I'd be happy to help whoever is going to be writing the grant or needs research or anything at all. I'd be happy to help.
I'll share that with Dr. Chamberlain. Thank you, Dr. Withinger.
Thank you, Dr. Withinger. My impression of the article that I read was that although EPA has changed the minimal requirements or the minimal disbursements of it's the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality that has not responded, and so I have my own impression about why that has not happened. Okay, but
The only thing that I see in the article is that GCEQ was asking for air quality monitors. to gauge the issue throughout the city. That's the only thing, and if we can quickly get the grant money, and I know when you're writing grants, there's no such thing as quickly, but I really think it's very necessary to have the monitoring system to gauge the level of ETO for our city, because it affects everyone and everyone's family.
Yeah, it does. So, I want to thank you for bringing up the topic. So I know that I had seen it, but I had just not reacted. I was just,
We're also
When I-
busy, sir. You know, we're also busy that we don't stop, to sometimes to see, what's right in front of us. It's just, well, like this, and the point is that we don't even know it's there. The point is that it's odorless, it's tasteless, we're not aware, and we're ingesting, we're breathing it in every day.
yeah, what surprised me is that Laredo, the wind in Laredo typically blows from the south. It goes southwest. Okay, so that means that you would think that it would blow most of the stuff outside the city, to the northwest of the Mines Road in that area. But the fact that it's concentrated in all areas of town is concerning, because it's the gas or whatever this is, the chemical is not dispersing with the wind. It's actually it's very stable, and it's staying, and it contaminates the city regardless if there are a few days or a few parts of the year that the wind is blowing from other directions in Laredo. So it's concerning that this chemical is everywhere in spite of the direction of the wind. So, okay, well,
Anything that I can do to help, or the position letter, or support letter, or anything to help, do some research or writing or anything at all. I'm honestly saying I would not mind at all helping out.
I think one of the first things that we can do, Dr. Ruthinger, is write a letter raising our concerns about the population that we represent.
Do you want to work on that together? We can, if you'll call me, I'll start writing it and send it to you for editing.
Sure, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't, and the other thing I had suggested was, well, we could show up at meetings or public meetings that may be occurring as well. I know that takes a bit more commitment. I know that some of our board members, some of our members live in a part of town, and so I don't know how concerning that's to them as well. But
Whatever the committee wants to do, I'll go for it. I just wanted to make sure everybody just up to see what they want to do, what you all want to do.
So do you all have any other recommendations or suggestions, or are you in agreement, not in agreement, or I'm willing to listen to anything that you all have to say?
So would we have to get approval from the mayor to go to, let's say, like the next town hall as a BRC? No?
No.
So that probably is a good idea to attend as a BRC, as a collective entity, not just an individual in the community. I think that is a little bit better than just going as an individual,
I think that's
especially if we have the mayor's support. I don't know where the mayor stands on this, but
Yeah, and I had raised that concern with Paola, okay? Because I don't know where the city is at this point, I don't know what city council, okay? And we know that sometimes communities bend backwards for certain organizations, okay, or industries, because they're a big plus economically, and if they inject a lot of money into the community, and so a lot of things are not as vigilantly looked at when they should or could be. And so, one of the things I told Paola was I was concerned about speaking on behalf of the committee and not reflecting the same
Exactly.
support or ideas that may be contradictory to the city council or the mayor. And so I don't know what the city council's perspective is or position, or the city officials, are they comfortable with what they've seen so far, and so.
Maybe we could approach Mr. Chamberlain since he is the link to them.
Yeah.
And that is why my recommendation
And
is
he's positive, keep the letter positive.
for the committee to draft a letter
For send the letter.
for, mayor. Of course, Dr. Chamberlain would have, CC to it and see, and perhaps even have the opportunity for you to sit. I mean, I'm no air quality expert. I know Dr. Chamberlain's the one doing research, which is why I have this status. I know on the administrative portion, operations, we are, we've developed our internal, processes to ensure that we do apply for this grant and secure some funding.
Ms. Erica, perhaps you should word it just like you said. That the committee supports the drafting of these applications for grants.
I think that's the right approach to support what the grant that they're going to want to draw down, right? As this letter of support, I think that would be great,
So we're
right?
more
They're supporting
positive
it. I don't need to
letter.
get all,
Instead of
Yeah.
expressing concerns or
Right.
trying to speak to the
Yeah.
quality of the air, which like
which we're
Erica
not
said,
educated
we don't
on.
have the
Right.
credentials to do that.
Mhm.
But just to say the BRC supports that request for those funds,
Mhm.
that it's important, and that
The
we're
letter of
supporting the
support.
city and not going against
Yeah.
anything anybody may or may not.
I think it's about approach, right?
Right.
And I think when it comes to things like this, I mean, we saw it with the pandemic, we see it with other things. We have to tread carefully because they could very instantly be politicized
Yes.
or influenced. And nothing against, right, economic development of our community, but if there is a to look into it, to make sure that our community is safe and healthy. So that's, I think, focusing on those things
Yeah,
would keep it neutral and, like Dr. Ruthinger said, positive.
yeah, so the train's already moving, let's just jump on that train, right, that we're supporting.
So is there a way, I mean, I don't know who does the request for funds, but is there a way to include that letter once it's finalized, the letter from the BRC to request the funds? To include
Letter of
that
support,
in
letters
the
of
packet?
support are always a
included.
plus in in grant
So
applications,
maybe
so.
that would assist too.
Yeah.
Well, we can start with that, Dr. Ruthinger.
I think that's a very good way to move. I think we should definitely be on the train now that it's going and show our support.
Okay. So we'll do that, we'll work on something and to support the development of the grants for the monitoring of the air and any other ones that may be available, I guess. Needless to say that this is one of those topics that it affects everyone in the community, but it's up to the city leadership to decide what direction they want to go. And so, believe me, it's not my intention or this committee's intention to speak on behalf of the city, okay? Because we don't. We're raising concerns about the people that we represent.
Sure.
And how can we improve the environment or alleviate it from any hazards that may be in existence. So we'll go ahead and do that, Dr. Ruthinger. We'll move in that direction then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for bringing up the topic.
Yes, thank you for that.
Um,
So we'll follow up with y'all, or if you can send us, the draft email or just the official letter of support, I can share that with Dr. Chamberlain.
Perhaps some talking points and we can work from there and then send it back to her for revision if we need to.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay,
Thank you
sounds
for offering to help, Dr. Ruthinger.
good.
It always helps to have an expert helping us write something. May we move on to the next item? recommendations to the City of Laredo Mayor for his consideration and approval. I know that there were two candidates that are individuals that we had spoken about. I don't know what the status on that.
Just information to justify the nomination to the committee. I don't know who was.
I was one of the people, and I provided a general resume as to her experience and why she would be a good fit for the committee.
Because I know I had drafted the letter and provided it to both of you, I believe, for review. That needs to
Yeah,
be
the
finalized.
only thing that I had asked for is that we had any, I guess, any information regarding their background, education, or.
Yeah, I did send that.
And that was primarily because I feel kind of strange sending something, a recommendation to the mayor saying, here's a name, approve it. You know, he's gonna base it on, well, who, you know, as easily as he may know the person, he may not know who they are either, or where they've been and what they contribute. And so I was hoping that we could just put something to the
Like a little
effect.
brief bio or
Yeah,
something?
so-and-so
Just who they are, what
currently
they're
works
doing.
or operates, whatever,
Yeah.
and their background or education is in this area, and so we think they would be a good contributor to the group. And so that was the only reason why I wanted to have some degree, some kind of background on the individuals that we were recommending. But I know I did see your letter. Her comment. And Dr. Ruthendra, I know that you had sent me information on one of the individuals as well. I don't know what we have information.
I sent you all the information that I got from LIC for one of the supervisors for special education and for Ms. Betsy Morales.
Okay. And the other individual is currently employed by
Tammy,
TAMU.
that Ms. San Miguel, I think you had approached, Ms. De Luna.
Yes, but I don't think I think it was while I was out in the conference. I don't know if you need a resume or for her to forward. I know she had called somebody, maybe, I don't know if
Same,
she
I spoke to her,
Oh,
Ms.
okay.
Luna.
So maybe she's aware that she needed a resume or not yet.
No, I think that came after at the suggestion of Mr.
Dennis
Castellon. So if they can forward that out
Tammy.
Okay.
to us,
Sounds
that would
good.
be great, just to have that
I'll try
additional.
that. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
Information.
like the entire Vida page.
Yeah,
It's just
come on, get it going on.
something.
Okay, well, we'll finalize the letters in the next coming weeks
Okay.
for signature.
Thank you. Next item is item 5, which are any announcements.
I thought you did send that letter again.
Yeah, that would be good if I can,
All right.
yes. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. I have to step out, I do apologize.
Okay,
Actually,
Erica,
the
thank you for
next
being
meeting,
here.
But Paola will take notes on
Thank you.
anything
We don't
else.
see you. Happy
Yes.
holidays.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye-bye, Erica.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
good seeing you.
Miss Miranda announcement.
Announcements, any babies, people getting married? Marta?
No. I have an announcement, I may as well. So we're going to, they did a soft opening for the outpatient gym, right, for therapy, back in June. And we're gonna work on a hard, firm grand opening because we do have one of the largest gyms in Laredo. And people don't know that. Of course, the committee will be invited and whatnot. We're looking at the January timeframe, and we're trying to secure Representative Henry Cuellar to be our guest speaker. So more information will be forthcoming, but I just do want to plant the seed that it'll be sometime in January for the outpatient gym.
Dr. Ruthendra, are you still there?
Yes, I'm writing the letter with the information back to Erica right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, what can I do?
Okay, thank you. No, I'm just asking because my phone's doing funny things. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me use your stuff.
No, on the contrary, you're fine. Yeah, announcements? No? Nobody say anything? Okay, other than Diana.
Sure.
Diana.
I
Invite
want
us.
to talk about your paintwork experiences.
Oh, well,
Yes.
okay, I want to say maybe 2 meetings ago, we did talk about, or just touch base on that we are working under vocational rehab at the adult paid work experience. So I was really excited. I was telling Ms. Sanchez and Ms. Jeanette that, during Black Friday, I made a counselor, what do we call it? A counselor placement, at Partida Optical. So that will be our first, or my first customer for adult paid work experience, and they were very open to it. They were ready to get on board. Partida Optical has been a vendor of ours for many years since we were under Division for Blind Services. So they were ready to start that. They were ready to begin. So hopefully other businesses, we get that participation as well, and we'll take it from there.
So are they hiring some of your clients?
Yeah, so adult paid work experience, it is paid through one of our programs, but usually you might have seen it maybe in the form of the summer earn and learn, but it was mostly for the transition, the young adults. And now this opportunity came about for actual adults, and it really bridges that gap. Sometimes it's been years that they haven't had, an opportunity, or maybe they need to improve on some of those skills, abilities, and this is, of course, always wanting for that paid work experience to result, of course, in a permanent job opportunity. But it's opening the doors, I think.
Yeah.
For
And the pay rate, some of the pay rates are starting, middle, and
yes, so
amazing.
we have 3 pay rates. Of course, it starts with the beginner, and then the intermediate experience, and then the advanced. Of course, the advanced level, they do have a little bit more requirements. The customer does have to have some form of type of education. But it increases. So I want to say the pay rate, the beginner starts at $10, 10 with 13 cents, something around there. And then from there it starts. And I want to say the advanced is at 20 some, like 23.
Which is amazing. You're not
So
starting
are they hiring the individuals that are in your program for the visually impaired?
Actual customer is under the blind and visually impaired. Yes.
Much of the Texas State Fashion, they're collaborating with Cigarroa High School. And Cigarroa High School has a specialty courses for deaf and hard of hearing. And these are the students that are doing the internships with the Texas State Fashion Company.
Oh, that's nice.
So they're doing this for learning experience, and then hopefully growing into the transition. But
We should try to target those students to enter into VR careers.
I have the
Y'all
main
have money.
contact of the instructor there. That's how I was collaborating. Long story short, my mom's one of the managers for Texas State. So she came up to me one day, she was telling me this, and I said, I have resources for you, and I gave them to all the employees, and I told her, if any more of your stores do this, let me know, and she was just like, yeah. So they were really happy to see how, they can communicate effectively, because have any barriers during the training sessions and also during our time with the internships. But I loved meeting the instructors because they were so excited to do programs like this for their students.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and but yes, I can help connect and see, these are transition services, or even now it's something that they should be looking into.
We actually have under vocational rehab, we also have a specialist for the deaf blind population. So if I happen to have an adult, in my case it would be an adult, but the same applies for our transition counselors. They have a student with deaf blindness. We have a specialist that travels down. Of course, they're not housed here. They travel down and provide these services as well. So there's really good. There's actually also one of our previous counselors, she already retired. She did sponsor one of our customers to go to a program in New York. It was a Helen Keller school for deaf blind, and it is a pretty pricey program, but it is very much worth it. So that was a really good opportunity. So there are participants, customers, but sometimes you see that little dip where maybe you don't get anybody, and then you wonder where are the customers. They're out there. So yes, we can definitely get together about those. Thank you. So yes, just excited about the adult pre-work experience.
Yes, congratulations,
Thank
Marina.
you.
Good job.
No other announcements? No?
Besides the 25 positions available.
Good.
At the health department?
Okay, so if there are no other announcements, then last item is adjournment, so if